Congresswoman Salazar, you won that press conference. You did. You won it. Our chat went nuts, and we said we got to translate it. And Donald Trump apparently appreciated it as well.
Sí, gracias. ¿Qué tal? ¿En español o en inglés? You want to do it in English or in Spanish?
We wouldn't go too far in Spanish, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. I did it because we wanted to send a message, the same thing that you're doing right now. Thank you very much for having me. And I congratulate you because your producer was telling me that you're the fastest growing social media in Gen Z, in millennials. You know, I'm an old lady. My kids are the ones that are the Gen Zs and all that. But, you know, that the message needs to go to that audience that you're catering to. Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Yes. So the red Marxist Kool-Aid that you talked about in your speech there, that some may remember from 2 days ago in front of the courthouse in New York, was really your comments directed at people, warning them that Marxism can happen here in this country. Can you expound on that?
Sure. And I wrote the speech, and every word I mean. And since I was a journalist for so many years, I'm one of the founders of Spanish television, founder of Univision. I know the power of the words. And all we're saying is that we watched it, we lived it, we suffered it, we escaped it. I represent those people in Miami. They vote for me because now they have the voting card. They are Cuban Americans, they're Venezuelan Americans, they're Colombian Americans, they're Honduran Americans, and they all have lived it. And we know what it looks like. And that is the penetration of the civil society, media, academia, then now the courts. But the problem is that, and I'm not sure if you know this because you're a young American, handsome boy, is that the rest of Latin America adores the United States. Why? Because we're a bunch of banana republics, and here there's the rule of law. So if you have money, you come and you put it in the United States because you know that the courts are defending you and no one is going to take away that piece of property. And if you have a medical issue, you come to the United States because you know that the United States, you know, the Americans, they know how to do things well. So how come now all of a sudden we have this political circus in a New York courtroom? That is very worrisome because, you know, the court system in the United States works. And so how come federal prosecutors 6 years ago said there's no merit to this case, but then now the New York State prosecutors, oh yeah, there is. So you see, how come there are no audio recordings and no cameras inside the courtroom? Why? Because the judge doesn't want the rest of the world to see, meaning other attorneys or other intellectuals that know how the court system works, how badly he is ruling against Trump. And I repeat, has nothing to do with Donald Trump. You may like him, you may not, you may vote for him. It doesn't matter. It's all of us in trial. Everyone is on trial right now because the country, the institutions that sustain that American exceptionality that I stood on, because look at my accent. I'm first generation Cuban American. I was born right when my parents escaped, full of wounds with $5 because democratic socialism has took everything away from the Cubans because they believed it. They drank the Kool-Aid. And here I am enjoying the beautiful system that the founding fathers put together. And now these people are trying to just undermine it. Not if I can say something.
I would love for you to say something to somebody else that claims a somewhat similar heritage, AOC, who said that the rally in the Bronx yesterday, attended by 25,000 people, many of them of Hispanic origin, because the Bronx is primarily Hispanic in population, and that those people, that they're fake. She said they're fake. And the New York governor called them clowns, she said. Can you comment on that?
You cannot do that in the American political system, because you have the right to think whatever you want to and go to the ballot box and then speak your conscience. That's the problem. AOC, I mean, I serve with her. I see her on the hallways. I think that she means well. She has noble intentions. It's just that she drank the Kool-Aid of the Democratic Socialist Organization of America. They're Marxists. I always say that we need to put AOC on a plane to Cuba. Leave her there for 2 weeks. with no dollars. And I would love to go with her and go through the sacrifice of no water, no electricity, no medicine, no food, no nothing. And then for her to see what democratic socialism means. But that's the problem, that your audience, the Gen Zs and the millennials, all these millions of young people that live in this abundant, beautiful country, they do not understand that there's nothing to be guilty about the abundance. Is that the founding fathers created the foundation. So your parents, the parents of the Gen Zs, worked hard, and then now they have abundance. So if you want to share it, well, give it to charity, and then just give it away. But don't try to change the system, and don't feel guilty because look, we have, and they don't. That's why we are the United States of America. So AOC has not understood that philosophy, that ideology with socialism behind it, it's dark. That's our issue, and that's our problem, that people don't have a point of reference like my constituents do, the Cubans and the Venezuelans. Look, let me just give you a little anecdote. You don't need to know. Forget about Cuba. Let's talk about Venezuela. Venezuela, 20 years ago, it's a whiff in history. 20 years ago, had oil. Venezuela is like south of us, right down there in South America. And it's a big country, and it has oil, right? Venezuela has the largest reserves of oil in the world, more than Saudi Arabia. Did you know that? I mean, a lot of oil under their soil. Okay, so oil, all right, not coconuts or beaches. No, oil. That's a big commodity. So Venezuela had a very strong economy, and they had a fantastic democracy, and you had a lot of Venezuelans buying buildings in my district, Brickell Avenue, for those that know Miami, and going to Miami Beach and spending money because they had oil. They were part of the OPEP, big guys, okay? Comes Hugo Chavez in 2000. 2000 is like, maybe you were born around that. All right, so he comes and said, you know what? There's not enough equality. Not enough diversity in this society, right? So he wins the first election and he grabs power. And then I'm not going to bore you or fatigue you with the story. 25 years after, 7 million Venezuelans have fled. Their oil production is in shambles. And the average Venezuelan weighs 15 pounds less because of lack of food. And they have oil. And what? Because they have democratic socialism.
Do you have a fund or somewhere that I can donate to send AOC on a one-way ticket to Venezuela, Caracas, Havana, anything like that?
No, just going to Havana. Listen, fortunately for her, she's a member of Congress, and we have to respect that. Only her constituents can take her out or leave her in. That's why I never vote for anybody to be expelled from Congress, because when you earn this, it's up to your constituents. Those who went to Trump's rally, and like Lou was saying, you look at the ballot and you say, well, I'm going to go this way or that way. Is the only way, because that's the American electoral system that we got to respect and that we want for Cuba and for Venezuela. Is just illustrating and opening the eyes of those people that she represents, specifically the Hispanics and the African Americans and the whites that feel guilty for what they have. No guilt, pride of who we are as a country. And we, the first generations, because what are you, second generation, third generation? I don't know what you are, but you speak great English and you look pretty white. All right, I don't know what generation you are, but the first generation, meaning me and the people that I represent, we are very grateful. And we go like, what a country. And what are you trying to do? Change it? No. Because I have two kids that are 24 and 25. And I want the same experience, the same platform that I had economically and politically to shine if they work hard.
So we were looking up your district, and I was shocked to see you're downtown Miami, right? You're downtown Miami. Your district is what would be like the middle of Manhattan, right? I mean, Miami's becoming the new Manhattan. It is the center of the center.
I am the
And
only Republican member of Congress that holds a 100% metropolitan or urban center in Congress.
it's remarkable. I mean, I
No,
know
it's that
Miami relatively
we're
well.
informed. We're
It's
informed.
amazing. And
We know.
congratulations. So there's nobody better to speak about these new polls that we see. Because we see these new polls where Latinos are breaking for Trump. For the first time ever, where Latinos may vote majority Republican in this country. As somebody who has clearly hacked that system, can you elucidate for us, like, what's happening in this community?
Well, Lou said it. It's the first time that the Republican Party, who has done a miserable job, the Republicans, miserable job when it comes to the minorities, specifically the Hispanics, the largest minority in the country, 20% of the population, 60 plus million votes. They haven't spoken to us, meaning us. We haven't spoken to the Hispanics since Ronald Reagan. That's the fact. Just like the facts that I was telling you in that speech, because I am a journalist, so I tell you what the empirical evidence is. This is the first time that Ronald Reagan, that Donald Trump understands, since he doesn't care what people are thinking, which he does very well, he cares about the country. This is the first time he says, let me go talk to them, which is the same thing I did in district number 27. Hispanics are God-fearing, law-abiding, tax-paying, family-oriented, and small government. But the thing is that the Democrats for the last 30 years, they have said to the Hispanics, hey, bang, bang. And we, the GOP, we haven't been there. But like I always tell everybody, unfortunately, the Democrats have played political football with my community. And I'm going to give you two examples. In 2008, I interviewed with Jorge Ramos and other people in Spanish television. I interviewed a guy by the name of Barack Obama, and he wanted to be president. And Obama said in that interview that, you know, within the first 100 days of my presidency, I am going to do an immigration reform law. Immigration is very important, and if you want me and you have time, I'm going to explain to you. I wrote a bill because immigration it's an important dear topic for the Hispanics. All right, because you have a lot of people who are illegal, and they're your families or your friends. All right, so let's put that aside if you want to talk about it. So Obama says, hey, 100 days, I'm going to be there. What did he do? He lied, because in the first 100 days, he dedicated his political capital to Obamacare. Fine, if that was your priority, Obamacare, but then don't lie. And there was no immigration reform law in Obama. Fast forward, Biden, 2020. Hey, within the first 100 days of my presidency, if the Hispanics vote for me, hey, I'm going to give you immigration reform law. I was there, though, and I come into Congress in 2020. And then I see Nancy Pelosi, who is at the time the Speaker of the House, and she has the power to bring the votes. You know, you bring the bills. They brought infrastructure, and they brought the BBB, and they brought what else? Oh, inflation reduction, whatever. And they brought $1.9 trillion because of COVID, but they never brought immigration reform law. Why? They lied. So I'm tired of them lying to us. And I'm glad that Donald Trump is going to the Bronx and saying, hey, which is the same thing that Lou said, hey, stop lying. It's been 30 years. Don't take us for granted. Hispanics, like he said, may not know much, but they're not dumb. And you know what? They have the voting card in their hands. So let's use them well. And that's why I'm here, to tell them, hey, despierta, wake up.
Just really quickly, because it's something we've talked about a lot on this program, the potential of Marco Rubio, who I assume you know.
Very well. He's my constituent. He lives in my district.
That's what I've been told. And so the thoughts on potentially having a vice president from your district?
A attorney who's been in the Senate for many years, who knows the community, who understands socialism very well. I would applaud the president if he does that. And we do need Donald Trump to be the next president of the United States, because what we see right now in the United States government is not what we deserve as Americans and the rest of the world. We are still, whether we like it or not, the beacon of hope. We are still the best system in the world that humanity has been able to put together. We may not be perfect, but it's the best we've got still around. And that's the one that everyone reveres. And what we're seeing is like people are like, oh my God, I mean, what happens here? Where am I going to go? What do you mean? There's no way to go to the ocean with a fish. That's where we're going.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
let's stay here.
We'd prefer. I'm not that great. I'm not that great of a swimmer. So yeah, we'd
so let's
prefer
fight it.
not to
let's
do
stay
that.
here.
Yeah.
And you tell your audience that not to drink the Kool-Aid. Oh, that the system could be improved, of course. That the African Americans could have better schooling, of course. That the Hispanics could have better opportunities, of course. That we can improve the system, not destroy it. That's where I'm at. Let's improve it. Let's bring ideas. Let's work for it.
I think that we'd have a very different country if members of Congress had your energy. If members of the Republican caucus in Congress had this energy and also had this insight in how bad things can get and this appreciation for our founding, we'd have a very, very different country. I have a feeling the government would be about the 10th of its size right now, along with our budgets, and we'd have no national debt. So we thank you for your fight. If you wish for more, just pure flames from Congresswoman Salazar, please follow her on social media. 200,000 Americans can't be wrong. Follow her on X and in all of her platforms, and somebody who has obviously caught the eye of the president of the United States and who's brave enough to stand there and defend him in downtown New York. The belly of the beast.
I'm not one of the favorites, I said. I mean, no one called me. I'm not on the list of the people that go to Mar-a-Lago often and he's friends with. And I'm not any of that, but I don't have to. I know what he stands for. And that's what I paid for my own ticket. I had my staff call them, say, I'm going to be there, prepare my speech, because I think that is what I need to do as an American. This is not my career. I had 35 years of journalism and a fantastic run that I had because of the American exceptionality. Now I think it's time for us, the Cuban Americans, that this country has given so much. Look at Miami. And we have worked so hard and we love the system so much. I can be their voice and give back to the country that gave us so much. That's why I'm doing it, for no other reason.
Congresswoman, it's an honor to have you on the program. Yes, it's something that it's probably the rarest thing in this country is gratitude for this place.
Well, I'm an evangelical Christian, and I think that gratitude and doing the Lord's work is the only thing we're here for.
Preach. Yes. Praise God. Godspeed to you, Congresswoman, and thank you. Please come back soon.
Whenever you invite me, I'll be back here.
All right. Done.
Thank you.